Alright, motherfuckers. What are we talking about? Salud.
Okay. Alright, so do you want
So with the 30th pick in the NFL draft, the Bills select...
We took Gregory Rousseau.
Woo! Phenomenal!
And what's actually funny from my perspective is that in my mock draft, because I was overambitious and I did a bunch of trades and whatnot, I had the Giants trading up to this pick to take Gregory Rousseau. So I had the spot right, I just did not have the team right. I didn't think we were going to make it. When I think about it, though, it fits what McDermott likes. Like I mentioned it before, Epinesa that we drafted, 6'6". And Darryl Johnson, the other defensive end that we drafted in the 7th round a couple years ago, is 6'7". We brought in Efe Obada, the young kid that... and he's 6'6", I believe, as well. So obviously there's a prototype that they want on the DN. They want those long arms. And if you've noticed the way the Bills play, players not only swarm the way that, like, I'm not saying that they're the unique team to do this, they're the only ones, but when you watch them play, the players do two things. One, they swarm to the ball carrier. There's always multiple Bills there to wrap up. And secondly, they get their hands up. And so when you get those, they get in the passing lanes. Ed Oliver gets his hands up very frequently. Tremaine Edmonds at 6'5". That's why he was so attracted to them, is because he just doesn't have to be the quickest, just get into those passing lanes.
He's also like 22 years old and
he's 20. He's going to be. He'll be under 30 when he finishes his second contract.
Phenomenal.
That's how great of a pick that was when you just look at like
You were very happy with that.
I was incredibly happy with that one.
We put him on every Madden team we can too, just because he's huge.
Yes. But anyway, so
you got Greg's.
So I really like that pick. He does. He's got obviously he took off last year, but you don't fall into 15.5 sacks in college football.
The only person who had more than him that year
is Chase Young.
Yeah.
So like that tells you something.
It's good company.
And I wasn't the biggest fan.
Who's
of
the
him.
next guy down below him? Do you know?
What do you mean?
Who had 14 sacks in 2005?
That I do not know. Why you gotta ask me the questions that make me look stupid on camera?
I'm looking it up. You don't know the third sack leader in college football? It's fine.
No, can you?
Yeah, actually, well, once you tell me, I won't forget. Hopefully. Mainly because I feel like...
Oh, you drag it like that?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, dude, I can't do that.
I can't do that either. Granted, I just got my first smartphone in 2020, so I guess I'm not the best example to follow. But what I did not like... I will admit, though, I didn't
That's
like...
how I text while I drive, because I don't pick my thumb up off the phone.
That's fucking weird. Chase
Young, Gregory Rousseau, and then a gentleman from a school whose ticker is just Clit.
Who's number 4?
Alex Highsmith is number 3.
Alex Highsmith, the linebacker that went to Steelers in the 4th round last year.
Who's number 3?
3 is Alex Highsmith from Clit.
Who's the other 3?
Oh, the other 3 tied him at 14 sacks, so a sack and a half shy of Rousseau, who was only a sack shy of...
Who's this guy right here?
Hamilcar Rachad Jr.
Who's
He
that?
was in the draft this year.
Yeah. Who picked him up?
Oh, I thought you were looking at us like you know the answer.
I do know the answer. Who picked him up, guys?
Oh, you guys did, didn't you?
The fucking Jets did, baby! Undrafted!
Oh, that's why. I'm like, he didn't mention it. Ha He didn't mention it.
Yeah, I didn't mention it because I figured I'd give you a little surprise. What do you think about that?
Ooh.
I was... Once you said it, my eyebrows went up. I was like... When you asked the question, you were like, who picked him up? The eyes are like...
That was one of those rhetorical questions.
But anyway, so I admit though, like I was not the biggest fan of Rousseau based off of his pro day. I thought that like this is the biggest interview you have, you should prep more.
Take that day
but
off,
he also put on. I found this out afterwards. He put on a large amount of weight, somewhere like 15 pounds over that year, while working out on his own. So that explains why he wasn't as explosive as when he was, thin and playing football consistently. So when you add on those factors, plus I like his length, I like his potential, and when you're picking 30th, I really like the pick now. The second round, then we doubled down and we went with Boogie Basham out of Wake Forest. And I actually I'm a big fan of him. He's a very different type because he's only 6'3". He's a bit more thicker than Rousseau. Rousseau is more of a freak arm, like Javon Curse almost type of thing.
He's still like 6'5", 270, ain't he?
I want to say he's closer to like 6'3", 6'4", but yeah, that weight is like 270 or so. Like he's a thick
I thought
boy.
he was a little bit taller than that.
It's also based on what they list. Like it depends on who you look.
Huge.
No, yeah, he's a big man. And what I like about both him and Rousseau is that they can shift and rush from inside too. So if you're able to get to the point where you're able to rush on the inside and outside, now all of a sudden offensive coordinators are looking and like they see who's in the huddle, they see who's getting called in. They're like they see those 4 guys. You have no clue how they're going to line up, and in just that lack of confirmation on your play call based off of what you're seeing there just gives any advantage that the defense can get, especially in any sport, because we know that every rule that we're freaking getting is benefiting the offense. It's a joke at this point. So like I understand it's probably safety, but let's be honest, man. Like we really don't let them even play cornerback anymore. If you sneeze on the guy,
no more hand checking.
Yeah, come on. What the hell are we doing?
So I was looking at the 2019 sack numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know who only had half a sack more than Basham in 2019? A.J. Epineza.
Who was also on the Buffalo Bills.
Had half a sack more than him last year, so that's...
So we've got a very
Might be a good camp battle then. I'm sure they'll remember each other.
And they're gonna keep. I hope so. And honestly, I think it's great because, like you said, fill that room. Like get a bunch of guys. Let's see what sticks. Because at the end of the day, yeah, we spent a second round on Epinesa last year, but if all of a sudden a second round this year just whoops him in camp, Bean has shown that he's like, look, I will start the best players, and eventually, if you're still on the team when I can get value for you, I'll trade you. Like that, that's just how he works, and I like the fact that that's the case because I am very opposite. I get way too pop committed, and it screws me in a lot of things in life. So I'm glad that our general manager doesn't suffer from the same downfalls I do. So the one thing I will mention before we start getting deeper, though, is that we had 3 4th-round picks. We'll get to them in a second, but I thought that we were going to use those as ammunition to trade a bit.
3 4th-round picks.
That's what you do with that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't move around, and also because Bean moves around a bit. But since he didn't do it, like we got good players as well. That was just something that surprised me. I thought like this was like prime thing. But I also am very well aware that the visiting and the tryouts and the combine, there wasn't that opportunity to really delve into this draft class.
Yeah.
So if moving around, I thought the option was either you trade up and get the guys you want, or you just have so many guys you're okay with getting, you take them. You just don't give up next year's capital, which is why that getting the first year round next year for the Giants was huge. Because the way that they're going to be able to scout them, they're going to be able to scout them very differently next year. You're going to be a lot more confident. Like there were teams that are like, and that were not very confident in the medicals that they got because there wasn't that official combine setting where they trusted a lot of the medicals that they were getting.
Yeah, what was his name?
Oshilari dropped to the second round because his knee issue popped up 48 hours before the draft.
Yeah, he tore his ACL in high school.
And somehow that just pops up right before it. But you have an opportunity to get a more extensive and accurate research on the back end. It works out better for you. But anyway.
That reminds me of the Tunsil video with the mask.
With the mask?
Like last
Classic.
second. Yeah,
but that was
I know
awesome.
that was
Tunsil is good.
I know they're not related. Well,
We got him after
not
Ronnie
injuries,
Stanley went
but
to the Ravens,
you know what I mean.
somewhere between 6 and 8. So yeah, he was somewhere between 10 and 13.
That felt good.
And then they traded him to Houston, who needed a left tackle, but then Houston just gave everything to him. But so I do like the fact that we realized we don't have pass rush. We watched the fact that Mahomes and the Chiefs ripped us up, then went to Kansas City. Granted, we injured Eric Fisher was injured in that game. I won't say we injured him because there was no intention. But when he went there, we saw that Tampa dominated Kansas City because they were able to rush 4. And play coverage, but they were able to get pressure and hella pressure with 4.
That's how the Giants
Well,
won
they
the
had-
Super
they
Bowl.
had-
Exactly.
tackles out
It's
too.
not a secret. We all know if you can get pressure with 4 and drop 7, you have a
Yeah.
much better chance to stop the passing-friendly offense, unless you're going against Derrick Henry. That's really the only exemption is Derrick Henry and the Titans.
So what pick are we at here?
So now we're going to the 3rd round, which is where we got Spencer Brown out of Northern Iowa.
Okay. You happy with that?
I loved that pick. I think I might have been one of the few because I was talking to a bunch of guys that I talked to.
You definitely are because Spencer Brown was not near the third round throughout the entire offseason.
I would have been okay with him at the end of the second.
And stuff.
I would have been okay with him at the end of the second, honestly. Not with the way the board drafted. I'm glad that we got Basham, but I agree. He was not looked at as that high. A big part of it, I think, is because he's from Northern Iowa. A big part of it is I think he was one of those guys who was like a converted tight end that turned into an offensive lineman, put on a good amount of weight, but he kept that athleticism, and he was an incredible offensive lineman. And he's going to come in and play swing tackle, basically. He's not starting because we have our entrenched 5. We brought him back. But having that swing guy because of injuries and just for whatnot, any reason. Plus, we signed Dawkins, who's long-term and whatnot, but we gave Darrell Williams 3 years, but most of the guarantees are all in the first year. So we can kind of move on after that. And the rest of our offensive linemen are pretty versatile where they can swing inside, outside.
Do you hear that?
That's going to be great
That's
for
a
people
sexy
who are
voice.
watching.
You can't uncork it and not pour something.
Do you hear this? That's nice.
That should be great for people watching. People who are like listening in their car during their commute, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? Like, what the fuck are they doing?"
Also, Steve went from yelling about how awesome it was that the Jets got that undrafted guy that we was trying to rhetorically ask us.
Yeah, what was that?
And
Rachad, right?
then he went to that sexy voice where he's like,
She's like, hey, ladies and gentlemen,
Hey, ladies.
I'm expecting a baby. If you want to be expecting a baby
Like
too, my
Val
number
Venus.
is. Sorry, Shatine.
but
She's
so
not fucking listening to this, trust me.
She's not. No.
Where's the support?
Oh, there's
she's carrying his kid. That's the
And she lets us use her basement. Yeah, more than enough support.
Yeah.
but I love Spencer Brown because I thought he was one of those athletic upside guys that I'm
So
like.
that's your
I
number
think
three.
I think I love the Swedish curler who has that.
They're not
big
even
sleeve
trying.
tattoo.
They're not even
That
trying.
was my
Yeah, watch
wall
him win.
earlier. Yeah, that was my.
Boom, kapow.
Son of a
Now-
Now with America.
That's how I got
guess.
distracted earlier. That I didn't even. All right, go ahead.
Oh, no,
I also got a thing for blonde, so like fucking Sweden.
I was trying to bring us back to topic.
Let's blow through this.
So I was wrong. I misspoke when I said fourth round. We had a bunch of sixth round picks, so that's what I expected to go. We didn't have a fourth rounder because we used that as part of getting digs. Not complaining, that was very well worth it. But
Yeah, 100%.
the fourth rounders, I don't know if you recognize when you guys were watching it. The third rounders would help you move around on the first day for round one. The fourth rounders were the ones that allowed you to move around on day two with rounds 2 and 3. Like you throw in a couple fourth rounders, and that's what allowed you to jump up some spots. We didn't have that, so we couldn't jump up and down there. I was hoping that like a couple sixes, we even give a bunch of the fifth days just to get our third days to get our guys. But regardless, the point is then we ended up getting what's his name, Tommy Doyle out of Ohio, not out of Miami, Ohio, not
Not the U.
not the U.
You know it.
But
That was like
again,
the best clip.
This is fourth round?
this is now fifth round because we didn't have a fourth round
Fifth
pick.
round
We
is
had
what?
a fifth. Yeah, this is our fifth round pick. And this is another one of those. He's going to. I don't know if he's going to make practice squad or if he's going to make the roster, but he's that high upside athletic offensive lineman that's just. He's also 6'8", like just. We obviously
6'8"?
Yeah, both of them are like
That's
6'8".
a big boy.
But when you have Josh Allen as your quarterback,
Yeah.
Right.
you don't have to worry. You're not rocking Kyler Murray or Tua now back there. Like this
Can
man
I
can
just say
see
something about
over the
Kyler
mountains
Murray?
of Wyoming.
Can I just say something about Kyler Murray?
As long as it's negative, yeah.
It's really funny.
Or to watch him run like a duck on water.
Yes.
It's like a duck on water
He's so
watching
little.
this.
His legs move so fast.
And none of these grown men can catch him, though. None of these
Yeah.
grown men.
I'm surprised he didn't say Super Mario, because it looks like he's running.
Yeah. It's like you want to hear the sound effect, like like right as he's about to get going. Yeah.
Woohoo!
Who was it? Wasn't
I'm
it?
a little surprised you're doing that. Just anyway,
Did you like that? Was that close?
it was pretty good actually. Yeah.
Born, how was work today, man? You look fucking beat. You're super quiet today. You usually talk more than just like fuck the Bills.
I never said fuck the Bills.
You just did.
Oh, gotcha. No,
Got him.
got him. Oh, go ahead.
All right, fifth round, sixth round.
So now we're on to the sixth round where we had 3 picks. This is where I thought we were going to use some of this ammunition to get otherwise, but I actually like what we ended up getting.
Swings.
Well, we got this kid Marquez Stevenson, who...
Okay.
Good name.
Okay.
That's a good name.
But I don't know if you guys ever... it's not often people watch Houston. But he just has... He reminds me a bit of a Tyreek Hill-like kind of player. And I'm not trying to say he's going to have that type of impact kind of thing. But that quick acceleration, like there's one thing to have that long speed, I get that. But to be able to have that acceleration off the line, out of breaks, any of that stuff, not only makes you a special teams possibility.
Like the 10-yard split.
It's not even the 10-yard split. It's the agility and the ability to, after that that agile move, accelerate incredibly. So
That 3-step. That O-line 3-step.
Yeah, like the 3-cone drill. That type of idea. So that he just blows me out of the water when you watch him play. Like it's one of those where you ever watch a game and you're like, that guy isn't trying hard and running faster than everybody else on the field. That's what he looked like when you watch.
That's what
his
playing
games.
sports with Analium was like.
He was.
Or his
he was
older brother
fun.
Bassett.
He was
Oh
fun.
my god, the two of them.
All right, so who's the next six?
Steve, did you play ball with them?
Who?
Analium and Bassi?
Soccer I did in the rec league.
Me
growing
too.
up.
I was on their team.
Yeah.
They were fucking.
They were-
Yes, they carried our team.
They were so fast.
They're the reason our team was that
and
good.
it was effortless. Like they were the fastest
Oh,
kids
right.
in John Adams the entire time in John
yeah.
Adams.
Football, you said?
No, they
No,
played
rec league
soccer.
soccer growing up is
Mike
elementary days.
Nastis was the
Like,
second
no one
fastest.
never played anything after that, right?
I don't remember that, to be honest.
I don't think he played in high school.
Not in high school,
He didn't
no.
play anything.
No.
They were phenomenal.
Didn't he go to another school or something?
No, he ended up at Rutgers and he actually graduated with like one of those with honors. Like,
Really?
So, yeah, it was brilliant.
Awesome.
That's probably why he stopped playing sports.
Yeah,
Like, I can make more money not having to put my body on the line.
double down, don't risk your knees.
So, Damon Hamilton, what's his name? Harmon. Damon Harmon, I think it is, out of Penn State. I have it down there. I'm just trying
Damon
now.
Harmon,
Yeah,
what position?
He's a safety out of Pitt.
Okay.
Um,
Pitt or Penn State?
Pitt. I said Penn State the first time I misspoke. It's Pitt. He was one of those where like
Damar
Hamlin.
Damar Hamlin.
There we go. Thank you. The reason I didn't like it is because there were a couple sleeper safeties that I liked that we missed out earlier on, so I was just butthurt on that. It wasn't like this. Yeah. Like Hamlin,
Sixth round.
He's not the fastest, but he's got those instincts and he's a football player. So the worst case scenario, he can make a living for a couple years on special teams with us while that contract goes. Right. Best case scenario, he becomes that. I know you guys don't follow the Bills that much, but Dean Marlowe is basically like this guy who was like a slot corner safety, special teams, just back-end roster kind of guy, but he stayed around because he did his job, and he did his job well. And he reminds me very much so of a guy like that with a little bit more upside. Okay. Mainly because I followed him through college more than I followed DeMar.
More swings, right?
I want to take a shot because of this next guy's name.
Okay, shot real quick. Salute. Don't you fucking say it.
I know who it is. I know who it is.
Salute.
And I know what school he went to.
Rachad Wildgoose.
Oh, I remember mocking that guy.
I would mock him too because of that last name.
He meant Montreal, did not making fun of him. Because that guy right now is about to make more money in the next 4 years than any of us are going to say.
Blessings on him.
You got high hopes for him?
What it is that I think
what
that
he's
cornerback.
Corner.
He's a little undersized. But the one reason that I give him I think that he's got a good technique. But the bigger thing, and I know this is less about him and more about the Bills, the one position that the Bills have shown that we can develop since McDermott came here was defensive backs.
Right.
Yeah. Like Trey White was
he is a defensive back, isn't he?
Yes.
And then Mike Tomlin was the wide receiver, and that's who they were playing against.
At St. Mary's or one of those Catholic colleges. That's how they know each other. Yeah. And that's also one of the reasons I have a little bit more respect for the Steelers is because I didn't know Mike Tomlin had that kind of background, and I like those. Yeah. I like those former players who become coaches, like in any sport.
Especially he was also super young when he came in.
Tomlin?
Yeah, super young when he came in.
And Pittsburgh accepted him, and it's like Pittsburgh has had 3 coaches in like the last 30 or 30-something years.
Right. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher,
and now Tomlin. So to make it into that pantheon,
and Dick LeBeau was the defensive coordinator for all of them.
But I like Wildgoose because I think that he's got good fundamentals. He's a little undersized, but he's got good fundamentals, and I really trust our defensive staff.
Right.
We have also not just McDermott, but we also have Leslie Frazier. Like Leslie Frazier's no joke. He was a head coach at some point for Minnesota. Yeah. He's a defensive mind.
Wasn't Leslie Frazier their coach when they had that Purple Rain defense?
He was there when Tavarius Jackson.
Oh, okay, my bad.
So is that the last pick?
No, then the one I do have to remind myself. It's Jack Anderson, the offensive lineman out of Texas Tech.
Another good name.
Another one of those very large.
I remember looking at him.
Another one of those large athletic offensive linemen. So obviously, there's a type that they're going for, and I agree with it because one, we don't have to worry about height because Josh Allen has height. 2, the arm length I think is a big thing because we obviously are moving from that old school Buffalo, we're gonna run the ball, play defense in the cold, to we're gonna air it out because we have a quarterback who can throw it through the cold wind. Like we picked Josh Allen because there are very few quarterbacks. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are the only 2 in the NFL that I will argue have that arm. Period. Yeah, there is nobody else in the NFL that has an arm that is that caliber. You want to say more accurate? You're 100% right. You want to say they have a better brain? Fine. I don't care about that. When it comes to pure ability to throw a football, those are the only 2 in an echelon of their own, and then you get to everybody else. So I can understand why to press it. And you also want that athleticism because you see Josh Allen. He wants to move constantly. Like he'll stay in the pocket, and he showed that this year more so than ever that he is willing to stay in the pocket. But you'd be a fool if you don't leverage the fact that he's got those legs while he's got them. Because he's only going to get older. He's going to get hit. He's going to stop being able to do that. You might as well capitalize on it now, especially because we're going to give him that money. Like, he's making that money. There is absolutely no question. He's not leaving Buffalo.
You can't sleep on that as a defense either. The guy's 6'7". He hurdles over other dudes who are 6'7".
So, are you happy with this draft class, or what would you grade this draft class?
I would say this draft class was a B+ for the Bills.
Okay.
I would say because I do like the fact that I do like the Rousseau and Basham doubling down on DM because we really needed pass rush help. I love the Spencer Brown one, as you can tell. Like, I'm very, very big on that one. If he busts, he busts, but that's, like, the one I'm going to put my flag in.
Mm-hmm.
I like I wish there was some movement, which is the only reason I didn't do that, because while I like the guys we got in the 4th round, in the 6th round, I'm sorry, I feel like those could have been used to maybe get a couple more 4th-rounder guys, like Jabril Cox, who dropped out of LSU, he went to the Dallas. And while I know we have Tremaine Edmonds and Milano, get another 4th-round linebacker that has some athleticism and coverability to just, supplement the fact that we're going to have to extend. We just extended Milano, and we're going to have to extend Edmonds, so get a cheap linebacker that can also kind of cycle in there. We've been very top-heavy. But in general, the only reason it's a B+ is because I thought some movement. Otherwise, I really like the selections that we made.
That's good. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. So be safe, be smart, rock on.